to go over.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I personally haven't, participated in that either, but once I know, if you can share with me a little bit about what, I have some beliefs on that, but I'm curious what you guys are experiencing out there, and then I can give you some guidance. What we started off talking about, guys, good morning, was how working with buyers, and what we're seeing a lot out there is, let's say, like that 300, 350 or so and below. A lot of the listing agents are connected with either Mark Spain or Open Door or something like that, the iBuyer seller, if you will. Is that what you guys are experiencing out there?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more, Lorinda. What are you experiencing?
One of the things that I'm experiencing, especially with the Open Door agents, is that they're non-responsive.
Speak just a little louder if you could, please.
I said one of the things that I'm experiencing is that they're non-responsive to even answer questions. They put their name on the listing. The number belongs to a calling house. The calling house will leave the message for the agent to call you, and it may be a couple of days later. And by then, when they do call back, you find out, oh, we have 4 or 5 offers on that already, or it's under contract, or they haven't changed the listing status in Georgia MLS. And so it's just discouraging because your client likes the house, want to set an appointment to go see it. So it looks as if you're not working hard enough or fast enough to your client because you can't seem to get a showing scheduled, in a decent amount of time. So that's what I run up against with more of the open house listings. Mark Spain, haven't really had too many of his listings to see, but with open house, definitely. That's the biggest thing. It's more of a cookie cutter kind of puppy farm to me.
Okay. So we're just talking about how to work with Open Door listings where there's, communication struggles and, it's harder to get, details about showings and probably disclosure statements and these kind of things too, and get, swift responses. Anyone else had any experiences that they want to share? And then I'll kind of give you some guidance on it.
I know for me, I've had to call like a 1-800 number. You don't get an actual agent associated with that particular listing. You just get some random person and they have to look everything up. And so they don't know if you have any specific questions relating to that property. They never have the answer. They always, they are able to tell you, yes, there are 2 other offers already, blah, 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 but anything specific, they don't have the answers.
Okay, and tell me about the showing instructions. Are they basically saying like go when you want, or are you finding that they're like mandating appointments and you're just having struggles getting the appointments? What are you guys experiencing on that front?
Well, for me, for Open Door, you have to use their app, and you can schedule it right then and there because they're all vacant since they've purchased them from the seller.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Good point.
Yeah, so but you have to use their app, and the app unlocks the door. One problem I have had is if you schedule it like 2 days in advance, let's say, and then you go that day, if you're like 30 seconds early, it won't unlock the door. And that can be a pain. And then that's embarrassing when you're sitting there with your client. You're like, oh, wait, we got to wait another minute or 2 before I can unlock the door.
Okay. What else?
It's another way for them to just take hold of your data because
I was headed there.
Because you're punching in your information, and then lo and behold, you'll open up your emails and it's open door. You'll get all these type of emails coming in from them.
I do.
Yep.
I was say that too because I had to do the app, and yes, then even though I checked all the boxes like don't send me emails, they spam the bejesus out of you after that too.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a pain with the app. And yes, so we were a minute early because we'd gone to another one and then it wouldn't let you in and you just had to stand there. And the fact that because no one's in some of these homes that no one's taking care of it either. And like the one we looked at, the grass was like 3 feet high. because no one's there mowing it, or, like it was just there's no one checking on them or maintaining it if it doesn't sell again right away.
All right, so let me touch on a couple of these topics real fast. The first is, I know this is, I don't, I'm going to say something, and I know there's exceptions to this, but it's only strange because, or it's only, kind of embarrassing or so, or the client might think something that like you're not doing a good enough job to like, organize the appointments and these kind of things. If you haven't shared with them during the buyer consult that there is a significant chance, especially in certain price ranges, that they will encounter listings that are owned by Open Door or fill in the blank, right? And if you were to say to them, now listen, you're in the price range of, let's say, 300,000. And what we're seeing is some of these companies are essentially just buying everything 350 or 400 and below without care, right? And it's for the reason that Anthony just mentioned, which I want to touch on in a little bit more detail in a second. So part of this experience, and this is relevant for non-Open Door properties as well, is setting proper expectations, right? If I tell you that the process of scheduling the appointment, getting current, up to the minute information, getting quick responses on questions and offers and these kind of things is just like it is with other properties, then the buyer will expect that. If I tell them that it's a hot mess and there's a good chance that even though they really like the property, it's difficult to get a hold of the people in charge. It's difficult to get your questions answered. You may or may not know whether the home is truly available or not. Like the home has probably been neglected at least for a few weeks, right? So if you let them know that that's just part of our market right now, and they might go to you and say, well, I don't want to see any of those properties. And you can say, okay. And you take them all out and you show them everything else, right? And if there's nothing else, then you go to them and say, hey, the reason why there's no homes available is because we've eliminated homes that are listed by this company. So do you want to reconsider, right? I can't change, nor can you, the fact that Open Door's buying a bunch of these properties and they've set up systems that are on overload. What I can do is let me rephrase that. The only thing I can do is be the go-between to help my consumer, my client, understand the realities of how to behave in this type of marketplace. So if I let them know that it's going to be a challenge, no fault of theirs and no fault of mine, then when things go, smooth, potentially, they think you're a miracle worker, right? Because we're all doing the best we can. Make sense? So when somebody says, it's kind of like, who was it? I think it was Lorinda a week or two ago posted that stipulation page by the company that owned that particular home that her buyer wanted, right? And it had some clauses in there that certainly concerned me. Well, here's the facts. If you want the home, you agree to the paperwork. If you don't like the paperwork, go buy a different home. It's not personal, it's just their policy, right? So, I mean, this kind of reminds me long time ago. This is right around the time that, this is like 2007 or 2008 or so. And 2008. So right after the financial basically collapse happened, I had a buyer who pulled a bunch of money out of his banking account and basically stuck it in his bed, right? And a few months later, once things settled, he put it back in. Right around the time he put it back in, he was buying a home with me. And the bank said, hey, where's this money coming from? And he showed him the paper trail, but it wasn't acceptable in their eyes. And so he came to me and he says, what's the deal here? I got the money, it's all legitimate. And they won't I have to wait another month to close for some banking rule or whatever. And I said, look, I wish I could help you with this. But if you don't have the money to buy the home with cash, then you have to follow the rules of the people who have the money. And if you don't like the rules, then you don't get their money. Again, it's not personal. It's just, if you need help from someone else to move forward, you got to work within their policies, right? So I can't take a beautiful listing that my buyer really wants and make them communicate the way I want them to communicate. I just have to share with them what I'm experiencing and help them understand I'm doing the best I can. And maybe I'll update them a bit more so they can see evidence of that. But I can't change the fact that the listing agent or the listing company is on overload. Now, what Anthony suggested is 1000% right. This is a data play, just like everything now is pretty much a data play, right? I don't know if you guys saw, we talked about this a few weeks ago when it came out. There was a guy, I think he was in California somewhere, and he said that he alluded to one of Zillow's practices. And interestingly enough, Zillow killed the iBuyer game like a week later, right? And he basically said, you know, we know where everyone's searching, right? So if we see that there's a higher rate of searching in, let's say, Johns Creek, right? Because of people, you know, from all over the country, they know where they are, they know what zip codes they're searching for, right? And they know how long they're on the site, they know whether they're scrolling up or down, they know how many pictures they're looking at. I mean, they know everything. If you don't think they're calculating this stuff, you're sleeping, okay? So then they say, something's going on in Johns Creek. Let's go buy some more homes in Johns Creek, right? And then they deploy the VC's money, billions and billions of dollars, to go buy up the inventory in Johns Creek. And then they just do whatever the hell they want with it, right? I mean, in all seriousness, the longer that home stays on the market, the more leads they're going to get. They don't care. It's somebody else's money. So we have to understand that it's not going to work out the way we think it should. It's just going to work out the way they want it to work out. And we have to participate in that game if we're going to successfully help buyers that want to pursue those properties. Right. So if you set expectations of, hey, if we happen to be running a minute early, we're not going to be able to get in. Then you guys can laugh about it or talk about something different and you don't have to feel like embarrassed that you're a few minutes early. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Now, the other important takeaway here is they're helping the consumer use an app to get into their home. You know what that does not necessarily involve? A real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They're coming for us, guys. They're coming for our jobs and our careers, right? And our livelihoods. And they're pushing the commissions down. Okay, so do you like that? Of course not. Can you control that? No. The only thing you can control is going out and finding more and more buyers who are comfortable with the conditions of the marketplace and who want the guidance of a top agent, right? And if ultimately, if the commissions are pressured down and the machines are doing more of the work, you're going to have to explain why you're worth whatever the number is, right? So it's going to push us into, and I think we're pretty much already here, an incredibly skilled based marketplace, right? If you as a buyer's agent cannot justify your value, they're not going to pay it. And if you as a listing agent can't justify and explain to the consumer why selling to fill in the blank company has some drawbacks that really, really need to be examined, they'll just sell to that person. And that'll be one more commission that you don't get. Y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
So the only way to defend that is to get better, right? Getting better means getting more appointments, having more relationships, flirting with more people, right? And then when you get the opportunity to be with them, you know exactly what questions to ask. You got systems that are buttoned up. You know exactly how to deal with all the objections and the you know, kind of the drama of kind of hearing this news. Oh my gosh, I have very little control and I'm not going to get closing costs paid and nobody's going to fix anything and these kind of things. I don't know if I should be a buyer. Hey, I don't know either. Let's talk about it, right? I'm not trying to get you to buy today. I want to be your real estate advisor forever. So let's talk about why buying today is, what are the positives and what are the drawbacks? And let's determine what works, right? So if given these conditions, I don't know, let's throw out a number, let's say 3/4 of your, or let's say it the other way, 25% of your buyers might not want to participate in a market like this. You're not going to be able to call your mortgage company and say, hey, I was thinking about paying you 75% of the mortgage amount this month. Because 25% of my people are saying they can't buy in this environment. They're like, what are you talking about, dude? Send in your money. You see what I'm saying? So the only way to deal with that is to have more people. All right, what are you guys hearing today so far?
I'm hearing just basically, you know, what you're saying as far as the expectation for your buyers when you're, you know, sitting down with them initially, to just have an open line of communication, what the pros and cons are, you know, like you just said, in this market, because it will give, like you said, it gives you more value. They look at you as the consummate professional when you're able to, you know, bring things that they may not be aware of to their attention. And then especially when it happens, it's like, hey, remember we talked about this? Voila, it happened. And they're prepared for it.
Well, you know, that's exactly right. It's setting expectations, which is always, I mean, and I've personally experienced this, there's nothing worse than having your expectations set for one thing and then having it come in below what you were expecting. The other thing that occurs to me is that a lot of times when people choose these iBuyers, it's because they feel like it's seamless. They don't have to go through the showings. They don't have to go through getting their house ready and everything. So if we can come up with strategies that help them with that, like maybe, hey, let's hold all the showings until we do an open house. And then we're just going to, depending on the house and how desirable it is, and we're just going to do offers on this one day and we're going to sell it as is. In our market, sometimes that's working. So sometimes we can make it as seamless as the other iBuyers, and net our clients more. And if we can prove that and show that, I think we can be competitive.
Yeah, I think that the summary one of what you just said, Candace, or some of what you just said, is that what iBuying is showing us, and I hope all of you are taking great notes here, which is people are willing to pay way more than I would have ever imagined for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or lose more.
Well, in some ways it's the same.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Or it's really exactly the same, right? They're willing to either pay for convenience, right? I mean, the delivery fee for like Uber Eats is like $10. That's like a whole nother meal.
And I saw somebody at McDonald's the other day with an Uber Eats getting like a hamburger. I was like, are you kidding me?
You're going to spend more on the Uber Eats, the delivery fee, than the food itself.
Yeah.
But people are doing it. I don't think that's a sophisticated way to use money, but other people are. So people are willing to spend a significant amount of money for convenience, on both the buyer and the seller side. So you should ask yourself, what is the Anthony Pizarro real estate organization doing to make experiences with my future sellers painless, or as painless as possible? What easy buttons are you creating? Same thing for buyers. What is the Anthony Pizarro real estate sales organization? What is your plan to create easy buttons for your people? And this brings me to another thought, which is, I know we've spoken about this idea a few times, but if I were to ask you who your biggest competitor is, what would you say? For those that have heard me say this, don't give it away. Who do you think your biggest competitor is? Caroline. There's no wrong answer. Just let us know what you think. This is a safe space.
I mean, I guess ourselves, kind of the work we put into it.
I think there's definitely some truth to that. That wasn't the direction I wanted to go, but you're definitely right on that. Who else wants to throw out a thought? Is it like your competitor? Is it like my biggest competition is Anthony and Anthony's biggest competition is me? Do You think there's some truth to that? Do you think Mark Spain's your biggest competitor? Man, y'all are sleeping today.
Probably so if they going out doing the work and we're not. It could be.
Oh, very good comment. I like that. Anyone that's doing more work than us is a competitor, right? Because they're looking to take your market share, right? Your clients, this one's going to hurt, guys. Your clients, or let me say it differently. Anthony's clients, right? The people that he has in his database that he thinks will use him next time he has a real estate transaction, those are the same people that Ryan's prospecting today. And if Ryan can give a better, easier experience and communicate more often with the right information and at the right pace, it's very possible that Ryan might take somebody out of Anthony's database, not ruthlessly, but just simply because she's delivering a better experience. And somebody may prefer the experience Ryan is offering rather than the experience that they're not actually even sure what kind of experience they get with Anthony because he hadn't called them often enough. The names can be flipped around, right?
No, understandable.
So I would venture to say that one of your biggest competitors is Amazon. Oh shit, just wait till Amazon gets in the real estate space, y'all.
Yeah.
It's going to flip everything. Okay. But even before they get into the real estate space, okay, can I order something right now with one button and it'll beat me home?
Yes.
Okay, how easy is that? They already got my credit card. I don't have to look around. They've already suggested what to buy. I just clicked a button, boom, poof, it beats me home. You see what I'm saying? So if somebody is used to that experience, which they are, by the way, I'm coming to you, Candace.
Okay.
And then they get into a courtship with you on the real estate front, and it's clunky and it's hard to get what they need, and things aren't happening fast enough for them. They're like, this is not fun. I think I want to go press a button to sell my house. Go ahead, Candace.
I was going to say, and here's what I was saying before. If we can offer something that's similar. So for instance, the iBuyers were a solution for buyers who didn't want to get their home ready to sell, who didn't want the hassle of showing, didn't want to vacuum it every weekend, right? But that's one extreme. The buyer who gets their home ready and puts candles and music is the other extreme. And then there's all these people in the middle that we can be working with, right? And if we can create something that's a little bit of that and a little bit of this and put it in the middle, but make it easy for them. And here's where I'm going with that. When you mentioned Amazon, yeah, I can go on Amazon and I can buy all kinds of things on Amazon. But I tell you what, when it goes for electronics, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to Best Buy, because guess what? I can press a button and they'll call me and discuss with me what my needs are, talk about what setup I need and give me the best advice and say, oh, by the way, I'll waive shipping and it'll be there today. So Best Buy is doing that middle of the road thing where they actually have a little bit more consulting and they're just as easy as Amazon. They'll actually call me, whereas Amazon, I have to look around the site to the customer service, and then they want me to select what category because they're so big. So we can be the Best Buy and not the Amazon or the iBuyer, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, there was actually I read a whole article, this was several months ago, I think, but it's about how Target won the pandemic because of the way that they were already set up, and that they'd already started somewhat with the being able to pick up, order online and the curbside. And so that they were naturally set up that when the pandemic started, that they could take that a bit further. And now, you can order things on your app, or you can shop in different ways with Target. I know that I've ordered things online to pick up, but I still need to go to Target. I just want to know that those things are there and ready, and I absolutely get that, so I might go shop the store and then still go up to the desk to pick up the things I ordered, online. And they said that that's just the way that they set up. And they said other retailers that all of a sudden made the switch, or that, were trying to, when their stores were closed, and now people have gone back, into the stores. Like some experiences they haven't liked as much online, but Target really put themselves in a place where they could they're kind of like Amazon in that they offer a lot of products, not obviously as much, but in that you can have a person to speak to and you can pick it up and you can choose your way. So I thought that was interesting. And it wasn't because they planned that out to be ready for a pandemic. It was just, this was their thoughts for how business should go. And it happened to play into the timing perfectly, but.
Well, the things that you just described are moments of convenience, right? If I drive by the curb, the person meets me out there and hands me my bags. That's convenience. They probably set it up to be convenient and just so happened to align with pandemic behavior, right? And you might be sitting here, hopefully you're not, but you might be sitting here saying, what's this got to do with real estate? Guys, this is a business conversation, right? It's a business conversation. And the next thing I was thinking about is, so if you kind of merge what Candace and Ryan just said, the consumer wants to be able to share their opinion on how the experience will go. So what if that just is the leading question that you have, right? Tell me a little bit about how you would like this experience to go, right? What do you expect from your agent, right? What positive experiences have you had that you really enjoyed in the past? And can you share with me any negative experiences that you've had so that I can avoid those things, right? What is the ideal way to communicate with you? Should I have some negative news or there's a hiccup in the transaction or something like that? There's some information I need to share with you that's not exactly what you want to hear. How would you like me to communicate that to you? So basically you're controlling the conversation, yet you're asking for the feedback that's necessary to deliver the service in the optimal way. Y'all see that nuance there?
Mm-hmm.
So then it goes back to setting expectations and giving them it's like you're establishing the boundaries, but then you are giving them some freedom to operate within the boundaries. You see what I'm saying? And because most realtors don't really think of being a business owner, the second you ask, like, how would you like this experience to be? They're like, wait a second, you're not just after the sale. This is so crazy. I think I want to work with you.
Right.
Right. By the way, I just posted in the chat just another copy of the buyer intake sheet, which I want to spend a couple minutes on here in just a second, which are just really a series of questions, because it's really the best practices for buyers. It's the same as the best practices for sellers. Okay. It's knowing what questions to ask. It's having the process kind of figured out, right? First we do this, then we do this, then we do this, right? We have the checklist and the drives, right? You can walk them through that process, right? Here's what the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to talk to the lender. Then we're going to go out and look at properties. Then we're going to talk about the contracts. Then we're going to talk about the marketplace, right? Then we're going to talk about all the other people that are involved. It's kind of like leading a buyer on a trust walk, right? If I just lead you on a trust walk and then I just jerk you to the left, and I don't tell you anything that's coming, you're like, wait a second, this guy is just like running me over. If I'm like, hey, in 10 feet, I'm going to jerk you to the left a little because there's a branch there. So I want you to duck a little bit. You're like, ooh, I feel comfortable now. You want to hear?
Yep.
Are you deep in thought, Anthony?
Yes.
What are you deep in thought about right now?
No, just this whole, the direction that we're going in, it's almost like a shift, it's the direction of where we're going with real estate, with the business in itself. And like you said, it's a business call. I mean, you got to be prepared for what's coming. If you're not preparing yourself now, you're going to get caught way behind the 8 ball. And
tell me more about that, please.
I'm going with, if you're not staying up with the times with regards to the changes that are going on, for instance, the iBuyer situation, the different cash offer companies that are out there. If you're not staying up on that, I mean, you're doing not just a disservice to yourself, but you're doing a disservice to your clients. because they're going to go elsewhere. And then you're going to be like, woe is me. Why did they go that way? Well, you weren't well versed. And I appreciate, what we're going through here, because you're taking us through those changes, and it's going to be growing pains.
Right.
Well, and do you remember when we had John Serrano on, and he had a really good way to handle objections about iBuyers, because it's just an objection, right? It's somebody going through a thought process. And he told a story, about how he cared about his clients and was able to get them $25,000 more through the seller through negotiation, whereas an iBuyer would have just accepted the contract as it was and never tried to negotiate more for the seller. And he that's a great objection handler. So we just have to be prepared. There's always going to be market shifts. There's always going to be objections, but all we have to do is just shift how we handle those, and we can still be in the game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
Did
we
you hear what Candace said? Did you hear that line she said? She said, well, she was repeating what somebody else said, but said, I care about my clients. And so, boom, 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 boom. What does that insinuate?
That the iBuyer doesn't.
Exactly.
They're data driven.
Exactly. You don't even have to say they're data driven. There's no need for any explanation whatsoever. Remember I told you this business is like 1% slinging homes and the rest of it's psychology? That's what I'm talking about, right? It's when I say something like, I do this because it insinuates that no one else does it. If I send a pre-listing package explaining all the things that I do as a listing agent, and a better, more experienced, more successful agent chooses not to send a package, they think I'm better. It's because I've just told them. Ryan, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say, I mean, this doesn't have to be a competitor. I mean, we have a perfectly good iBuying system. You go through Keller Offers, it's the same thing. We can do the same thing that Open Door and Mark Spain do. And I've heard agents that have said that they send all their buyers through the Keller Offers just to get an offer and see, like, let's see where the iBuying will come out. And then you see, and then you're like, okay, if you still want to list, we list, you still got that offer on the table.
That's right. And you can take this offer and this is what the experience will be like, or you can take this offer and this is what the experience will be like, right?
Right. So we have that solution.
I was headed there, right? So that's something that you can discuss at the appointment, right? If let's say you're working with a 250 buyer, okay? Are they going to compete with cash offers all day long, right? So if you're not discussing things like ribbon and knock and these kind of things with them, then they don't think you have access to it, meaning they don't think they have access to it if they choose to engage with you, which is going to put them at a disadvantage. So you say, listen, the market in your price range right now is we're seeing a lot of cash buyers, a lot of iBuyers and these kind of things. So I have a list of the 8 ways to compete with that, right? Here they are, boom, boom, boom. And then they say, oh my gosh, this guy is on top of his stuff. Y'all see that? I mean, Ryan is exactly right.
Yep.
We have those tools. Those tools were created and shared with us for that exact reason, so that we can be competitive without having to have billions of dollars of our own personal money.
And the reason that people think like they go to a Mark Spain or an Open Doors because that's how they advertise themselves, or that's how they promote themselves. Like I have a friend who works at a mortgage company, and she said she knows of an agent that does all like her marketing, like Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever. And they just said, need a jumbo loan? Come to me, I can help. Are you an investor? I can help with investment. She has nothing to do with the loans. Like she sends it off to the lender, but they come to her for these things, the investors and the people that need, jumbo loans, because she says it. It has nothing to do with what she does. You see the Mark Spain says, I'll buy your house. Well, we can buy your house. We're not saying we buy your house. Like, it's just
100%. And you know what? That's a data grab too. Because if Mark Spain raises his hand and puts billboards all over town and says, hey, call me if you'd like, to get a cash offer. And then I say, I'm kind of curious what my home's worth. And I say, hey, Mark, tell me exactly what you'd buy my home for. Now he knows that I've got more interest than the everyday person in potentially selling. So now the marketing drip is going to be directed at that type of stuff. Meanwhile, he also knows, because he's got the data, that people in my particular zip code generally search in that particular zip code for their next property at a higher rate than any of the other ones. So maybe they'll start dripping, hey, your home's worth 600, but if we know that the person who sells a 600 home and where you are generally buys an 850 home over there. So they'll start sending me pictures of 850 homes where they know I'm going to move to next, or where the statistics say I'm most likely to move to next. Hey, want to live here? Want to live here? Hey, Mark's available at 2. You want to meet with him? Okay, so a great response, a great way to deal with all of this tech stuff, guys, is just, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I've got to say it, is you got to be the person they go to first, right? You need as many people in Metro Atlanta that just flat out do not make real estate decisions without speaking to you first. So even if they happen to misbehave and click on Zillow and they get 10 agents that are all over them, whatever those agents tell them, they say, well, I don't know why all these people called me, but I don't make any real estate decisions without talking to Ryan first. So I guess I should call Ryan, right? And that's going to come from cementing those relationships. So the relationships prevents people from flirting with other agents online. Yeah, Candace?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, that's the what. And we also have the how for new agents that are saying like, well, how do I do that? We've got 36 Touch. That's a proven system, right? It's all about systems. So you don't have to figure out something brand new and be, just like wondering what in the world you do. We've got the what and the how, which is pretty powerful. Just follow. And the smart plan, guess what? Patrick Malden has already created a smart plan that is a 36 Touch smart plan. And all you have to do is just get with Leanza if you want to know what that is. It's got the birthday plan, the home anniversary plan. Even if you didn't sell them the house, you can look up their home anniversary in public records and add that into command so you can still help them celebrate their home anniversary. Because I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, their realtor's not contacting them on that date, right?
I would venture to say it's probably more like 99 times out of 100,
yeah,
or 999
exactly.
times out of 1,000.
Yeah, and then it prompts you to do emails full of value. We've got all kinds of content that we can go through and do for that. And then it prompts you to call them once a quarter. So that we've got the what and the how. So I think sometimes as a new agent, I would hear the what, and I was always like, well, how do I do that? But we've got it all. So there's no reason why we can't be top of mind all the time.
Right. And the question really is like, how, if you've decided you want to be a realtor, okay, we all spent money and time to get our license and all that kind of stuff, right? And you've chosen to partner with us, and I think that's the best place to be. Otherwise, we'd all the people that have been around for a while would be at the best place, right? So you've partnered with the best place. So now the question is you got to ask yourself, how committed am I to being just phenomenal at what I do? Are you aiming to be average? And if you are, then you can adopt average habits. But if you want more, then you're going to have habits of the people who study the market every day, who are learning about the technologies that are available, that are studying trends, right? And all these kind of things to really understand what's coming next, right? How can we make this transaction more convenient, more simple for our consumer? And how can I deepen that relationship such that they wouldn't even dare think about making a real estate decision without coming to you? And I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I'm sitting down with Tracy and she's my prospect and I'm trying to share with her what it's like to work with me and how to be successful in this marketplace, say, hey, I want to just share something with you. The mission of my business, okay, is to help our local families create wealth through owning real estate. Okay. And one of the ways that we do that, that's the why. The how, one of the ways that we do that is by providing our clients with up to the minute information, like a neighborhood nurture, right? Like, monthly newsletters and calls and these kind of things, vendor lists and whatnot. so that they have all the information that they need to make real estate decisions whenever they need to make them. And my goal, Tracy, is that you never feel pressured to make a real estate decision without first coming to your lifetime real estate advisor to chat about it first, right? That's what I'm looking for. Now, how can I earn that responsibility? You just share with them what you're aiming for.
I love that, Bill. I think that is so crucial because it's part of not being a secret agent. It's more than wearing your name time. It's expressing your intent and your goals to others and just exactly what you said, asking them, how can I earn that?
Yep. Man, I probably wrote
Powerful.
thousands, man, thousands and thousands of handwritten notes. And on almost every single one of them, I wrote that line. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to earn your business, right? We have to earn the business. We don't just get listings, we earn them. Okay. I won't go through all these questions just so we can have a moment to go through our one things, but take a close look at the what I shared on the intake sheet, or what I shared on the WhatsApp, which is the intake sheet, because the way that you're going to get deep with a consumer is to help them understand, or to help you understand why they want to do what they want to do. Okay. So what is the motivation? What's the time frame? What are they excited about? What are they scared about? What questions do they have? What similar experiences have they had in the past, both good and bad, right? Tracy, how do I win with you? My goal is to be your agent for life. So what are you looking for in an agent for life? Like, how do I win with you? Well, Bill, you win with me by being honest. Great. I'm a very honest guy. Anything else? When we're in transaction together, I want a text every Tuesday afternoon giving me an update on what's going on. Okay, sounds reasonable to me. And I should be thinking in my head, do I have a system to make sure that doesn't slip through the cracks? And if not, now's a good time to build one, right? Hey, Tracy, I want to make sure I don't, behave in a way that might be ideal for another consumer, but not ideal for you. So how do I lose with you? What could is there anything that I could do that would cause our relationship to struggle or to end? Yeah, I don't like people that are late. Okay. Note to self, the first time you're late, you're probably going to get fired. You see what I'm saying? Is that not what we do when we are, dating somebody? Hey, tell me a little bit about how you like to spend your time. Hey, tell me a little bit about, like, it's not like an interrogation. You're not asking them directly, but you're trying to figure out like how they have fun and what makes them happy and what pisses them off. Right? Why wouldn't we ask those same questions when we're trying to get into a business relationship? Or let me rephrase that, trying to determine if we want to get into a business relationship. All right, any ahas for today?
I think just that you need to, I don't want to say you just start, you really need to know, I think, where the buyer's head is to know how to position yourself, but you got to be prepared to go to all different ways, if you're going to be competitive in the marketplace.
Thank you for sharing that. I think the interesting, we can talk all we want about competition, but the fact is, for the last 15 years, it's around 70 to 72% of consumers only interview one agent anyway. So yes, you need to have the how do I be competitive in mind, but I think even more importantly, you need to figure out how to forge that relationship with them quickly so that they don't have any interest in going to speak to the competition, right? Anything else? Anyone want to share anything else? All right, it's the last day of the month. Last day of the month. Most realtors are on vacation. They'll quit their vacation in February, and then they'll wonder why they didn't have any closings in April and May and June. I'm going to encourage you guys, don't do that to yourself, okay? There are people out there looking to make a real estate decision today. Without your advice, there is a very good chance they will make a crappy real estate decision today. Your job is to go out there and meet them and help them before they do that. Does that make sense? Okay, Ginny, what's your one thing for today?
Lead generation,
All right, how many people are we going to talk to?
at least 20.
At least 20. Beautiful. Anthony.
I'm gonna cover my week 48 in DTD2, which consists going through my figures was 17 people, and gonna text the other ones that are in the other part of the alphabet, and put forth planning my weekend appointment with this one client that I have in the pipeline.
Beautiful. I'm just really enjoying, just from a personal standpoint, watching you grow. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. Lorinda.
I am going to work on my DTD2, but also I'm tackling my bold 100. I have yet to crack the 100 calls in a day, or at least contacts, not even calls. Calls I can do. It's the contact. So diligently working on that, so I don't have to get that pen back.
Okay, so let's talk about that for 1 second. So Lorinda,
Yes,
for the YouTube world and all those that are here, you are committed to talking to 100 people today. Is that correct?
I'm committed to, yes, yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so the head ain't hitting the pillow until you hit 100. I don't care if you're having to walk the aisles at Target 2 in the morning.
To speak to people, yes, but
Whatever
I
it
need
takes.
to do more than speak. Because speaking to people is not the ultimate goal. It's getting that contact information, correct? Is that?
Well,
okay.
that's step one. Step two would
Okay.
be to try to determine how you could assist them, right?
Okay.
What information are you seeking? What goals do you have in mind? Something unique about them so that you can add it to the database and have that personal touch on the next time you guys speak.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have a better understanding. It's not so much, hi, how you doing? And get a number. It's actually having a detailed conversation. That's how you break the goal, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's going to give you their number if they don't think it's valuable to give you.
Right.
Number.
Okay.
Great job.
So yeah, that's the plan.
All right, tell us all how it's going, okay?
Okay.
All right,
I'll see
Tracy,
you.
what's your one thing for today?
My one thing is lead generate, and today I'm actually doing a showing for an agent at 12 o'clock.
Okay,
So,
beautiful. That gives you plenty of time to generate leads between now and then.
yes, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What would your conversation be like with someone? You're in Target. We're going to use your Target. You're in a Target. You come across me. What would your conversation be to me to get my information and to find out?
I got this, Bill.
Good.
Okay.
I was mulling my head because I probably would never do that personally.
Oh no, I talk to people everywhere about anything. So for instance, if you're in the candle aisle, I ask people their opinions a lot. It shocks them, but I'm like, which candle flavor do you like better? Because I'm a realtor and I'm doing an open house and I'm always wondering what candle flavors people like. So I poll people all the time. Or, hey, if I were going to put if I were going to buy a closing gift for one of my buyers or sellers, because I'm a realtor, what would you like to get?
Oh my
I
gosh,
ask
that's such a
questions like
better
that all the
answer than
time. And
what
the
I would
people are
have
like,
said.
oh, well, you should get la, 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 and then you can engage it.
Thank you for that, because I was just curious about like, how do I'm in Target. How do I start a conversation with someone about me being a realtor without saying I'm a realtor, but it makes perfect sense. Thank you for that.
That
Also,
is
That's
your
awesome,
name,
Candace.
by the
That was
way.
great.
That
Where
was
you-
so
Right
good.
department.
Tracy, wear your name tag.
I have to get one. Definitely have to get one. Yes, for sure.
But when
Yeah.
you go out, like even to the grocery, I mean, as long as you look like you do now, like presentable, not like you're in your, jogging clothes, but wear your name tag out in public, because that gives people a reason to like talk to you about it. Like people actually approach you.
Yeah, and even if you are in your jogging clothes, you can have a KW hat or something that
Right.
shows that you are working, right? You have a passion. You're showing up every day for a reason, right? Man, Candace, that was great. I might even try that.
I do that all the time. It's so fun. People look at you like, and then they go, oh, yeah, no, vanilla.
Headed to Target now to stand in the
Yeah, I was
candle.
wondering who's.
No.
I was wondering who was all going to Target today, right? Ryan, what are you up to today?
I have a list of 16 contacts that I need to make today.
Awesome. Ashley.
Hey, I am going to first work on a broken link on my website so I can get my clients to leave reviews. And then I'm also gonna contact like 15 people today.
Awesome. Caroline, what's your one thing for today? What's the most important thing that you could get done today?
I am focused on making 20 contacts today.
Excellent. Excellent. And Alexis, what are you up to today? What's your one thing for today?
So I'm trying to plan an event for January, a home buyer seminar.
Okay.
So I'll be getting a call today with a commercial agent who I might be bringing in on it.
Perfect. Great idea. All right. My one thing for today is I'm going to set 3 appointments, and I have about 20 people I need to call today. Candace, what are you up to today?
11 awesome coaching calls with awesome agents.
All right, beautiful. All right, guys, I hope today was helpful. As always, if you have any questions, whether it's scripts or tactical stuff, you need to chat with Candace or I at any time, feel free to reach out. And I just want to compliment you on your commitment to your business, and make sure that every single day, 2 things got to happen, right? We got to learn something, and we got to go talk to people. If too many days are going by and you're not getting to be a smarter real estate agent, or you're not telling anyone you are an agent, or deepening relationships with people that already know you are, your competition is.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Make it a great day.